Hi, movie recapped here. Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I will clarify a 2012 activity dream film called Wrath of the Titans. This film is a spin-off of the 2010 film Clash of the Titans, yet you can completely comprehend the film without watching the past one. The film happens quite a while after Perseus, the half-god child of Zeus, crushed Kraken. After the occasion, Perseus chooses to live as a typical individual and declines his father's proposal to administer next to him, even after his better half's dead. He presently lives as an angler with his 10-year-old child, Helios. They appear to partake in their commonplace life in the little town. One evening, Zeus unexpectedly visits Perseus and requests his assistance, saying that the powers of the gods are blurring, since the people have quit appealing to them. Notwithstanding, there is an immense outcome they should confront. The gods will become weak and mortal, also the massive Tartarus, a hidden world jail of the most grounded titans and beasts, will fall and the detained evil spirits will break free and assault the earth. Perseus will not get engaged with the military and decides to live with his child. He then, at that point, amenably requests that his dad leave. The following morning, Zeus goes to Tartarus where he meets his siblings, Poseidon and Hades, also his other child Ares. He offers Hades his assistance to reconstruct the massive Tartarus and recommends he disregard the past, yet it seems like Hades actually can't pardon his sibling for kicking him down to the hidden world. He brings the flunkies and they begin assaulting Zeus and Poseidon. Poseidon is seriously injured in the following battle and Ares has additionally picked sides on Hades. He hits his dad savagely and removes his weapon, the thunderbolt. Zeus is then, at that point, restricted and Hades uncovers that Kronos will permit them to keep their interminability assuming they free him. He is conveyed to Kronos, the most grounded titan and the dad of the gods. Ares mercilessly punches his dad to communicate his desire towards his sibling, Perseus, while Kronos begins depleting Zeus' energy, portrayed with fire all around his arms. In the interim, the twin-head beasts called the Chimera rise out of the hidden world and start assaulting the close-by towns. One of them is Perseus' town. Understanding that he should ensure his child at all cost, Perseus draws out his old sword and protective layer and battles the Chimera. After the long pursuit, since the Chimera wards running off and assaulting honest individuals, he figures out how to chain the beast and bait it to commit suicide with its fire blast. He then, at that point, carries his child to the Mount of Idols, which is totally summary because of absence of individuals coming to revere the gods. He goes to Zeus, however the perishing Poseidon shows up all things considered. He tells Perseus that Hades and Ares have joined Kronos and Zeus has been caught. He arranges him to travel to the hidden world himself and free his dad. Before that, he proposes Perseus to track down Agenor, the half-god child of Poseidon, to help him. He then, at that point, transforms into remains and hands over his bike to Perseus. The mythical being then gets ready himself and flies on Pegasus to the camping area of Queen Andromeda's military, where Agenor is being held. Upon appearance, the military gives him a warm greeting since he is viewed as a saint in the wake of killing Kraken. The sovereign actually welcomes him, however abruptly the commandant comes in. Let the sovereign know that they have lost in excess of 300 men just to kill 4 fabrications and encouraging them to appeal to Ares. Notwithstanding, Perseus interferes with, telling them not to appeal to him since he has turned into mankind's foe. It is uncovered that Andromeda's men have detained Agenor for taking royal gems. Perseus illuminates him that his dad, Poseidon, has died, furthermore asks Agenor to assist him with getting to the fallen one. He concurs and the sovereign delivers him. Agenor, Andromeda, Perseus, and a few officers leave on an excursion to the secret island where the fallen one or Hephaestus is stowing away. Perseus clarifies that he is the person who made the gods' weapons, Zeus' thunderbolt, Hades' pitchfork, and Poseidon's trident. He adds that these weapons can be consolidated into the spear of Triumph, the main weapon that can overcome Kronos. They then, at that point, unchain Agenor and he utilizes his dad's spear to guide the boat to the island. Upon appearance, the wild Agenor ventures into a snare. They can't cut the stabilizer since the fall will promptly kill him. Abruptly, a wild cyclops, a colossal beast with one eye, shows up, and begins pursuing Perseus. The troopers endeavor to help him, however another cyclops shows up and assaults them. Unnerved, a female trooper covertly appeals to Ares. Perseus attempts to battle back and figures out how to cut the beast's hand with his sword. The beast opposes, yet he is capable to arrive at the rope that makes a major trunk fly in and hit the Cyclops. At the point when Perseus shows them the pike, they promptly discharge Agenor and lead them to Hephaestus. He heartily invites them. Nonetheless, he doesn't perceive Agenor, even after he attempts a few times to persuade him. Hephaestus presumes that Agenor is a futile diving being, that is the reason he doesn't have any acquaintance with him. Hephaestus has lost expectation after he knows reality with regards to the gods. However, the beguiling sovereign beseeches him to help them. Since she helps him to remember his significant other, he consents to help. The metalworker uncovers that he is the fashioner of Tartarus, illuminating them that there is an alternate route to the focal point of the jail. On the opposite side, Zeus' condition is getting more fragile and Kronos begins to stir once more. Hephaestus guides them to the entry of Tartarus while showing them a guide to explore the way into the maze. Upon appearance, abruptly Ares faces them, on account of the fighter who implored to him prior. He effectively dispenses with every one of the officers while the metal forger endeavors to open the entrance entryway. He even kills the petition. Since the entryway just stays open for a brief time frame, he utilizes his staff to hold the entryway and intentionally forfeits himself to divert Ares while Perseus, Agenor, and Andromeda arrive at the entryway. Without Hephaestus, Agenor attempts to peruse a guide to guide them and they in the end show up at the center of the maze. They investigate it and the way reaches a dead conclusion. Abruptly, the maze starts to move quickly and ceaselessly moves. Eventually, Andromeda is caught and nearly gets killed, yet fortunately the men figure out how to free him. Notwithstanding, Perseus gets cut off from the gathering, falling into a room where a wild Minotaur shows up also assaults him. The battle follows. The Minotaur is sufficient and figures out how to hammer Perseus to the divider a few times. He in the end gets his opportunity to counter, assault and kills the beast. The maze starts to move and he reunites with Agenor and Andromeda once more. They at long last show up at the core of Tartarus where Kronos has ingested all the power from Zeus. Zeus apologizes to his sibling as he pardons Hades for his activities. Ares faces the gods. Gehenna ultimately laments his activity and battles Ares while the gathering shows up and attempts to unchain Zeus with the pike. In the interim, Kronos has completely stirred and starts to move. After a few endeavors, Perseus delivers his father while Ares mediates. He tosses Hades' pitchfork towards Zeus which effectively pierces him. Utilizing his excess power, Zeus figures out how to bring every one of them, barring Ares, out of Tartarus. They show up at a base where Andromeda's military is, gathering and promptly convey the withering Zeus to the tent. Zeus reminds Perseus that the lance of Triumph can overcome Kronos. Since he has recovered Hades' pitchfork and Poseidon's harpoon, he really wants to draw Ares out to take the Zeus thunderclap from him. He implores Ares, provoking him to a 1-versus-1 duel at the sanctuary of the gods. In the meantime, Queen Andromeda clarifies the methodology for confronting Kronos to her military. Their fundamental mission is to keep Kronos down for as long as could be expected. Not long later, the fountain of liquid magma detonates and a few forgave beasts rise out of it, assaulting the fighters. The conflict among beasts and people follows. At the sanctuary, Perseus discovers that Ares has abducted Helios. He purposely brought Helios to watch his dad kick the bucket. They battle, however it appears as though he is a lot more grounded than his sibling. He effectively represses Perseus, mercilessly hammering his head to the points of support. Helios attempts to challenge Ares by pointing his blade at him. Utilizing this open door, Perseus figures out how to assault him and cut him in the chest with a blade. He initiates Zeus' thunderclap and annihilates him with it. Perseus then, at that point, consolidates every one of the gods' weapon into the Spear of Triumph. The beasts are extremely amazing and effectively dispense with the people's military, Yet they don't surrender and continue to give an extreme battle. Utilizing his leftover power, Hades pardons his sibling and moves his capacity to Zeus. They emerge from the tent and assist the human armed force with battling the beasts. At last, Kronos rises out of the well of lava, and with their power consolidated, Hades and Zeus attempt to strike the Titan. Furnished with a lance, Perseus quickly flies towards Kronos. In the interim, the Titan tosses a fire blast and starts running towards the military. Kronos assaults again, and this time Zeus needs to utilize his leftover ability to shield Hades from the impact. On the opposite side, Perseus in the long run contacts Kronos, assaults him with a lance, lastly tosses the spear of Trium into the Titan's stomach, totally obliterating him prior to managing more mischief to Earth. From that point forward, Perseus moves toward his dad, who says his last words and appreciations to his child prior to vanishing into cinders. In the interim, Hades has burned through the entirety of his power and disappears. Perseus then, at that point, meets Andromeda and kisses her. Toward the finish of the film, he surrenders his sword to Helios, furthermore chooses to prepare him to be a warrior. Observe more recordings like this, turn on notices, and pass on a like to take care of the channel. Thank you for watching.